welcome back to the Angle Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Joey Carney, and with me today is somebody who is on a massive TNA PR tour, but he also represents the PR, so might as well just say that it's fitting.
This is true.
I'm with TNA superstar Mike Santana. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. It's been a wild 2 days, a wild week in general, man. I've been nonstop, but it's part of the gig, and I'm glad to be in the position that I'm in. So.
Of course, and with TNA Slammiversary coming up in New York, in the place that you're from, you're grinding. Like you said, you're doing this media tour. You were on Ariel Helwani yesterday. You're all over. I heard you're in Orlando. You're just all over the place.
Yeah.
How does this compare to previous schedules that you've had now that you are in the main event as a singles at TNA's biggest show of the year?
I mean, when you're trusted with being the guy or being one of the guys at the top of the game, then this is what comes with it, right? You have to do these media tours. You have to be everywhere all at once, it feels like, right? But I embrace it, man. This is what I've worked for. This is what I said I wanted to do. And the fact that TNA has been trusting me with this, and yeah, man, like this is what I've worked for.
I love how authentic you are, whether we're sitting here right now or on screen with TNA. There's so much about you that I think is relatable to a lot of fans, but also a lot of wrestlers. You spoke with Ariel about sobriety and things that you've struggled with. With that being said, do you have any advice for other wrestlers who may have experienced something similar going through it right now? Because we do see it a lot in professional wrestling.
Yeah. You know, it's an unfortunate reality that we live in, right? Not everyone's perfect. Not every day is good. But just seeking help is so important. Putting your pride and your ego to the side, because if there's one thing that I was a very prideful person, and I was a very ego-driven person, but at the same time, it's like those were the things that drove me to where I was, you know? And sometimes you got to put that to the side and ask for help, and it's okay. And thankfully I did that, and thankfully, you know, with me asking for help, I've learned a certain set of tools to help get me through certain situations, right? But yeah, man, to those struggling, there's help, and there's help everywhere. Thankfully, you know, I was able to find help, and it's helped me be here. And again, not every day is a good day. You know, even for me, like this addiction thing is an everyday battle. It's nonstop. I deal with it every day. That's why I've never overwhelmed myself with the thought of, oh man, I got to be sober for the rest of my life. I can't even think like that. I think of today, and every day that I wake up and every day that I go to sleep, I'm sober. You know, thank God. So, ask for help, talk, and communication is key. And yeah, one thing I've learned, if you want to get sober, you will get sober. Yeah.
I love that. And when it comes to sobriety in professional wrestling, a name in particular that comes to mind to me is Eddie Guerrero, and we know that he somewhat inspired you. We saw it with gear, we saw it with spots. He came out in the lowrider. What does Eddie Guerrero mean to you and your career?
So much. I mean, aside from the things that you mentioned and me paying tribute to him and honoring his wrestling side and stuff, but him being Latino, right? That was a huge thing for me, because growing up, we didn't see a lot of people on TV that looked like me and that represented what I represented. And the fact that Eddie blasted onto the scene being his authentic self, even with the Latino heat stuff that he was doing, he was still, you know, presenting this, you know, this Cholo culture, and it was at the forefront, and he always made sure that he represented the people and the places that he came from, and that's something that truly stood out to me. And yeah, I read his book recently. It's crazy that it took me so long to read it, but man, so many parallels with my life and his, and just the battles and stuff like that. But he was definitely one. After reading his book, it was like, you know, it's possible. You know, and he was actually the person that I heard say that, like, you can't overwhelm yourself with the rest of your life thought. Yeah, it's just for today. So
I love that. And I do want to touch on TNA. Like I said, TNA Slammiversary, the biggest show of the year,
Yeah.
right here in New York City. And it's, I think, one of the most iconic wrestling events of all time because of the history, because of the matches and the names we've seen there. But I want to touch on TNA itself, being that I look at TNA as a place for other superstars around the world, whether new or veterans, to come and redefine their craft, refresh themselves, restart. And we've seen that perfectly well executed with you, coming from all the places you've came to now in the main event at a TNA pay-per-view. How do you look at TNA and basically what I said, where it's the place for opportunity for everybody?
Yeah, I think it's a great place, and I think it serves professional wrestling as a whole. And it's awesome that it's always been a place that people could come and reignite their passion and reignite their careers. And I love that it's looked at that way. And but also, like, there's so many people in that locker room that fight hard for TNA, and it's probably the best locker room I've ever been in. That's straight up, and a lot of people will tell you that. The camaraderie, the fact that we're all fighting for a common cause, and the beautiful thing is that we're all there to help each other and to push each other and to inspire each other. And we have also, within all that, there's still a healthy amount of competition because we're all competing with each other. You know, we all want to be the best. We all want to be at the top of the game, right? So, yeah, like, I love that it's looked at that way. But also, it's also a place where you could come and make a career and really spend, like, if TNA is the place that you want to spend your career at, it's definitely a good place for that, you know.
Yeah. And that's why I love TNA. Like everything you just said, it's just a place where you can come and you find yourself, and there's a team camaraderie, like you said, in professional wrestling. Now, someone that's really, I guess, near and dear to you as well, Josh Alexander.
Yes.
A few months ago, it seemed like he passed the TNA torch to you.
Yeah.
But since then, we've had Joe Hendry become World Heavyweight Champion. Trick Williams is now World Heavyweight Champion. Do you feel like maybe you kind of got skipped over in that sense, or in that role of maybe taking the torch from TNA and then now seeing it in NXT?
So I don't, like, just because someone else has the title, I don't mean a damn thing to me. You know what I mean? That torch was passed to me by a very special individual who I hold in very high regard. And, he passed that over for a reason, you know. And I've been proving that, I am the standard. Yeah, I am the face, despite not having a title or whatever the case is. Best believe that I am one of the main names that comes to mind when people talk about TNA today. And but I feel like the title is like the cherry on top. You know what I mean? It's not everything. And I feel like I've gotten to this point without being champion, right? Yeah. So, like, it is what it's only up from here. So, but am I happy about Trick Williams having the title? Absolutely not. I look at him as an outsider. I look at him as someone who doesn't respect the lineage and respect the weight that's been put on that belt. You know what I mean? Joe, I've said it before, I respect what Joe has done. I respect how he's represented the company. But at the same time, it's like, is Joe a wrestler's wrestler? Is Joe someone that like, despite anything, you know what I mean? He's done the main event matches. He's hung in there with some guys, whatever. Yeah. He's done it, right? But I feel like I carry the true essence of what TNA is.
Yeah. And in regards to that, looking at this triple threat match, I personally see Joe Hendry being, a song, an entrance. Yeah. Trick Williams, he's got that charisma. Yeah. I would define you as authenticity, like authentic. Yeah. And like I said earlier, you just carry yourself. You are who you are. You represent where you're from very, very well. And overall, I think that's the most relatable thing in wrestling. Mm-hmm. Looking across the board, like how do you taking yourself, I guess, out of the picture, how do you look at yourself as a superstar in the world of wrestling to your fans?
Man, I never really thought about that. But like you said, I've always been one to put authenticity at the forefront, right? I want to be someone that people could look at and be like, oh man, I could do this, you know, despite whatever struggles, despite whatever upbringing I've had, I could still make something happen for myself. And that's always been at the forefront for me. Like, one of the guys that inspired me was Bret Hart, right? And what you saw in Bret Hart was what you got. Like, that was who he was. He represented his family, represented where he came from, and he wasn't playing a character, you know. And that's I took that away from you know, watching him and stuff like that. But yeah, I think fans gravitate more towards something that they could truly relate to, more than someone that's playing a over the top character, right? Charisma is cool, a song is cool, but real life is real life.
Substance of it.
Yeah, exactly. Real life is real life, and that's what I bring, man. Like, and the fact, and me understanding too, like, it's professional wrestling. We're in the we're in the entertainment business, right? But also, like, I've accepted and I'm okay with the fact that me being who I am and how I portray and what I represent will probably make the road longer or harder. That's okay. I'm willing to take that gamble, and I'm willing to put in the work, and here I am.
Now, a question you probably have gone this whole time in this PR tour. WWE and TNA partnership. We see Trick Williams, the TNA champion. He is an NXT superstar. We have seen current WWE superstars who have made their names legends in TNA. AJ Styles, Karrion Kross, LA Knight, Ron Killings. Is there any names that stick out to you that maybe you'd want to lock up within the ring with this TNA NXT partnership?
The only person that's on that list right now, and for until it happens, is AJ Styles. AJ is you know, undoubtedly the guy who when you really think of TNA, it's AJ Styles, the number one homegrown guy, and I feel like I've been that guy also. Like, TNA, coming into TNA, and they were the first ones to give me the opportunity on a grand platform, right? And I feel like I like to say that I'm like a homegrown TNA guy, and to be able to wrestle him and learn from him, and like, that's the guy.
Awesome. And the last question here, we know that this triple threat match is going to steal the show at Slammiversary. We know that this moment for you is biggest moment of your entire life. If you were to win the World Heavyweight Championship of TNA, we know that, well, it would be, like I said, the biggest thing for you. But looking at from your family's perspective, your daughter's perspective, what would it mean for them to see you become the TNA World Champion?
Wow. First and foremost, me winning, the first thing I'm going to do is present that title to my daughter, because she is the reason why I'm here today. She's the reason why I've been able to go on this journey that I've been on, you know. So that's first and foremost. And also for the rest of my family, is they saw me at rock bottom. They saw me at a point where they didn't think that I was going to come back from, and I didn't think I was going to come back from. So for them to see me go through that, get better, and build myself back up to where I'm at today is a huge deal, and they're all going to be there. And the fact that they saw it firsthand is insane. So yeah, it's a huge deal.
Mike Santana in the main event of Slammiversary for the TNA World Championship in his place of New York City with his family around. The biggest moment of his entire career, the biggest moment in TNA wrestling's existence, being the biggest show that we've had in so long. All I can say is good luck, man, and I'm excited to see what you do. I know you're going to bring it home, bring it back to TNA, but also bring it back to New York.
Hell yeah. Thank you, man. I appreciate you coming out, and let's get it. Sunday can't come fast enough, man.
Absolutely. TNA Slammiversary this weekend.